Hi everyone. Um, this tutorial will cover enumerating and exploiting metasploitable. We'll cover how to discover information about metasploitable. We'll choose exploits based on the information found. We'll run exploits against metasploitable and we'll rate the host for information. Or at least I'll show you how to rate the host for information. So without further ado, that's what we'll be doing. So let's get started. All right. So first thing that we want to do, we want to find information about metasploitable. I like to use nmap, which is very, very useful for finding information. So I've got metasploitable on my internal network. Just as a point, it's always best to run these vulnerable VMs. And yes, metasploitable is a virtual machine that is vulnerable on purpose. It's used to help security professionals hone their skills, running exploits, both network-based and web-based exploits as well. So you'll get to look at some of the OWASP top 10. So cross-site scripting, SQL injection, all that fun stuff. However, this first part of the tutorial won't cover that. This is just going to cover enumerating the host, which is what we're going to use nmap for, and then using metasploit to exploit metasploitable. Try and say that, 3 times fast. Okay, so what am I typing here? We've got sudo nmap -s, lowercase s, capital V, and the IP address of my metasploitable box. Just want to also add that if you are running a vulnerable VM, it's best that you run it on a secured network, or if you're running it using VMs, then you're going to want to do host only between your attack VM and your victim VM, which in this case for me is metasploitable. I'm on my own protected network, so nobody's getting in here. So I'm doing sudo because I'm not running root, so I'm going to need to be able to use root styled permissions to get this done. And then I'm using the -lowercase s v because I want to get version information with whatever services or ports that are open. So let's go ahead and run that. It's the first time I've run it, so it's asking me for the password. All right, here we go. So while we're waiting for the scan to finish, let's go ahead and start metasploit. So again, sudo because I'm not logged in as root, msf console. And of course, we're running the free version of metasploit. I'm in a different tab, so it's prompting me again for my password. So let's do that because my metasploit does like to take a while to start. Okay, so here we have our information for metasploitable. We can see here we've got a large number of open ports, and we've got the service that's attached to it and the version information where available. We can see down here we've got a MAC address. We've also got host information, so local domain. Oh, we've also got OS information, so it's running Unix, Linux. So when we're looking at the different exploits, we'll focus on Unix, Linux versions of those exploits. And just as a point of reference, let's see if it's opened yet. Still taking a moment. But just as a point of reference, as we go about using a metasploit, we'll, in this tutorial, only focus on those types of exploits that will get us in the box so we can steal information, not the types of exploits that would, basically destroy the box, or, well, not destroy, but, you know, cause it to not be able to accept any further requests. So no DOS attacks, no buffer overflows, nothing like that. Haha, here we go. Metasploitable is up. So we've got all this fun information about Metasploitable, and now we've got Metasploit running. Just as a quick note, we've got this fun command for Metasploit called banner. And what it does is, this is a banner for Metasploit. There are numerous amounts of different banners for Metasploit. My favorite is the rabbit, actually. So if you type banner and just hit OK, it'll give you a new banner. Weirdly enough, mine likes to show you the same banner twice in a row. But here we go. We've got a bunch of different options here. I'm looking for the rabbit because I like that knock knock Neo thing from the Matrix. Ah, awesome. So we've got it here really quick. Love it. Wake up, Neo. The Matrix has you. How cool is that? Okay, enough horsing around. So let's go back and see what we've got here. All right, so we've got FTP, Telnet, SMTP, Shell, another version of FTP down here, Postgres, X11, IRC, Unreal, and Apache Tomcat to HTTP. So obviously we've got some web components to Metasploitable. Things we'll pay attention to later on. So in the meantime, let's try and find some exploits for, let's say, Unreal IRCD. Let's look for that. Okay, so now we're in Metasploitable. One simple way to find anything is to just do a search and type in what you're looking for. So let's see, IRCD. Let's just confirm that that's what we're looking for. And let's do that. And it's going to go ahead. Haha. So here we found a backdoor exploit, a Unix exploit, no less, for Unreal IRCD 3.2.8.1. Now, we don't have a version here. So let's go ahead and see if we can use it. So let's copy this exploit. Let's move that up. And let's do use exploit. And oh, where is my, okay, let's just paste it a different way. My Mac is giving me some issues here where I can't see. You know what, let's just tab down and hope we get to the right one. Nope. Okay, let's just do edit paste instead. Let's do that. Okay, now we're in. Now, as you notice, it says exploit Unreal IRCD 3281. So now we're within the exploit. Now, what you do after this is to type in show options, because each exploit has certain settings that you have to set for it to actually run. In this case, you need the remote host, that's what our host stand for, and the remote port, which is already set here. And just to confirm, let's take a look at the port that's over here for IRCD. And look at that, 6667 is the port that it's using. So we're on the right track. So let's go ahead and do set our host. And this is so that we can set the IP for Metasploitable. And setting the IP here, just do that. So let's do show host again, show options, sorry. And now we see we have the IP for Metasploitable and the port that we came back with. So you have to just make sure that you've got the right information here. So again, we're using port 6667. Okay. So now all we have to do is type in exploit and hit enter. And let's see if we're going to get in here. So it's starting the reverse handler. It connected to irc.metasploitable.lan, and hey, look at that. Oh, we've got shell, you guys. Isn't that exciting? So we got one shell open, so we can start that final step in this whole process is stealing information from the host. So let's just do some rudimentary things. Let's see, who are we logged in as? Root. Isn't that exciting? Let's make some space because I don't like the way the shell looks in here. Everything kind of runs together, so sometimes it's hard to tell when one command ends and another one begins, especially if you've been running a bunch of them. Let's see where we are. Let's do an ls. Okay, donations, license. So we're in the IRCD folder location, I'm assuming. So why don't we just go back out to root, or the initial directory, and let's do an ls. And now let's do, we have access to Etsy, var, pretty much everything. We have access to everything from here. And since we're logged in as root, we can do whatever we want. We can let's go into Etsy, and pretty sure we can like cat like the pseudo words list. Let's see and change that if we wanted to. Let's do that. Look at that. Yes. So here we are looking at the whole pseudo words list. We can edit it if we wanted to. It's pretty much, we can do whatever we want at this point. Let's see if we can run a clear from in here. Okay, let's do ls. Samba. Okay, let's do cat shadow. See what's in there. Hey, look at all this information that we could be pulling from this host right now. And if you're a really great Linux person, then you could be doing some sort of grep and, you know, saving it to like a file. And you could even use an ncat if you could open a listener and just kind of copy files back and forth. But there's no point in doing that because we already have shell, so we can do our own copy and paste from here. And simple thing, open notepad and just, you know, dump it in there. But, you know, that's basically it. Let's get out of here and try another exploit. Let's do okay. Alright, we're just gonna close the session here. Let's see. Okay, great. Sorry. Doing the wrong thing. Alright, let's clear this and I can't type. Alright, so we got through with the IRCD. You know, whenever you have open sessions, you can do show sessions. And we don't have any active sessions now because, well, we closed it, but in the event that you did have multiple sessions, you could use those options to get in there. Ooh, I should also mention that if you're not familiar with metasploit, if you just do the question mark, it will give you all the different commands that metasploit uses, from just the regular, you know, stuff to do with the database, services, to the actual exploit commands. And so far we've seen, let's scroll up a bit, sorry. Okay. So far we've seen the banner command, we've seen sessions, we've seen set, we've seen use. There's lots of options here. So, you know, just in case you don't know what something is, you can come in here and take a look. Alright, let's clear this again. I like to work with a clean space. Okay, so let's try another exploit. We've got all this information to work with. What else can we use to get into the metasploitable blocks? And, you know, just because we've got shell one way doesn't mean we can't try a different option. Let's see. We've got FTP. FTP is, you know, file transfer protocol. It's open. It's unsafe. It's clear text. It's awesome for a hacker, and I'm going to say yes. In this case, I'm going with ethical hacker. It's a wealth of information. It's a wealth, period. So let's try, and let's look for VSFTPD. Okay, let's look for that. So let's again do search VSFTPD and search for that. Wow, we are getting lucky today. Want single exploits as we search for it. So let's look. We've got version 2.3.4 here. Let's see if we've got, that's the same version. Yep, we're working with 2.3.4 from our enumerated host. So let's go ahead and do use. And I'm just going to go ahead and copy this. And then since I can see my paste now, I'm just going to paste it. So now we're in the VSFTPD 234 underscore backdoor exploit. Note, again, it's a backdoor command execution. For this sort of scenario, any sort of buffer overflow or DOS style attack would not work. Well, for our purposes, it would not work. We're trying to get into the box and steal information. We're not trying to bring the box down. So be careful what types of exploits you're trying to use, because you don't want to pick an exploit that will, well, it will do something to the box, but not what you initially want from attempting to get in there. Okay, so let's go ahead and do show options just to see what we have to set. Again, we have to set, there are required settings for this one. Luckily for us, this one only requires the R host to be set and using port 21. And just to be sure, let's look at it. Yep, port 21. And for all of you out there, FTP runs on port 20 and 21. 21 being the command, FTP command, 20 being FTP data. But, you know, that's just additional information. So let's go ahead and use the set command to set the R host. Now, things may or may not be case sensitive, but you want to keep the name in the same format as you see it here, because, you know, don't want to cause yourself any unnecessary work. You know, it's always good to stay with how Metasploit has, you know, configured their naming conventions. All right, so let's go ahead and do show. So show options again. We've set the remote host, which is the metasploitable box's IP. And at this point, all we have to do is type exploit. Let's see what we get. So now it's using the VSFTPD. Oh, wow, that was quick. Right, and we've got shell again. So let's do this one more time. Let's do who am I? Who are we logged in as? Again, we're here as root. And in this scenario, this actually dropped us into the root directory, whereas the previous exploit dropped us into a different directory, and we had to actually cd out to the root directory. And again, we can go into, let's say, cd home. Let's see what we have in there. FTP folder. Let's go in there. ls. Hey, that's empty. That is unfortunate. Let's do cd user. Oh, let's cat user. See if that's something we can view. No? Okay. I'm not a Linux person, but, you know, for those of you who are, I'm sure you know how to, you know, all the fun commands that Linux uses to do their bidding. Let's go into this, you know, cd opt. Let's see what's in there. Wow, okay, nothing. That's surprising. All right, let's go into etc, because that's always got a wealth of information. And last time we checked the shadow file. Let's see what's in security. Cat security, assuming it's a directory, so let's go in there. Let's ls into that. Okay, we've got access.com, limits.com, namespace. Ooh, password. Okay. Ooh, the PAM files in here too. So let's look at that access.com file and see what we got. Oh, look. All right. So looks like we've got who's allowed to log into system here. So login access control table. Man, we could totally just go ahead and set ourselves up with access to log into the system as root under an account that is of our own choosing. Of course, we'd have to create it first, but you get the gist. So I'm going to, you know, end this pretty much here because I don't want to get this video to get too long, but you get the idea. So let's go ahead and take a look at our objectives for this. All right. So we wanted to enumerate the host, which is discover information, useful information about the host. So we used nmap, which is a great way to enumerate any host. And we use the -s, lowercase s, uppercase v, to look for open ports and services, version information basically. And that gave us a wealth of information. Then from that information, we were able to find at least 2 exploits that we could run against the host. And then we take a quick look at, all the information that we could read from the host. So I think that's a good start. Thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned for the next video. Where's this thing?